Privatization of railways is what we're talking about. A year after the talks were abuzz, finally the Ministry of Railways has now invited requests for qualifications for privatization of the railways for the operational part of passenger railway services. So what is this going to be? What is it going to be entailing? How are the passengers going to be benefiting? How are the private players going to be benefiting? And how is the government going to be benefiting? Let's just break this entire bit down for you. At least 151 modern trains will be introduced and 109 pair of routes will be planned out for private train operations. Each train will have a minimum of 16 coaches, and the project is going to be bringing the private sector an investment of 30,000 crore rupees. Currently 13,000 trains are running, and after the privatization 7,000 more trains are going to be added. And at the moment, the entire regulation and the management is being done by the Ministry of Railways and the Government of India. But after the privatization, the operational part and the management part of it is going to go to the private players. The Indian Railways plans to give out this project for a period of 35 years to the private players. But having said that, the drivers and the guards are all going to be the existing ones from the Indian Railways, which means that their jobs are going to be intact. The private entities are going to be paying the Indian Railways fixed haulage charges, energy charges as per actual consumption, and a sharing gross revenue determined through a transparent bidding process. The objective behind this privatization is to 1. Improve trains' punctuality, 2. Increase passenger safety, 3. Provide world-class travel experience, and 4. Confirm tickets to all the passengers. There are going to be many pros in the process of privatization of railways, but there are going to be equal number of cons as well. Let's just dish them out so you understand the lay of the land better. According to the Indian government, the new trains are going to be made under Make in India scheme, and that is something that will provide employment to a lot of people. But if you think about it, you don't need privatization to implement manufacturing of trains under Make in India. You can even do it otherwise. Number 2, and here is where it interests me as well. The maintenance is going to be taken care of by the private players, which means the trains are going to be far more hygienic and cleaner than what they are now. Number 3, the government says that this move is going to be enhancing the punctuality of the trains. Wait a second, is the government trying to say that they cannot ensure the punctuality of the trains if it still falls under them and you do need private players only to make the trains more punctual? Think about it. Number 4, the private players will be spending in more money, bringing in more technology. It's going to be far more state-of-the-art than what it is now. This is a fair point, given the fact that the government's fiscal deficit is very large. And at this point of time, a surplus amount cannot be spent in acquiring more trains, or spends cannot be made for that matter, which is where the private players will be able to do justice to this part. Number 5, it's going to be bridging the demand-supply gap, because more trains being added, which means more demand will be met up with, and there will be enhanced supply. Number 6, the trains are going to be constructed such that the maximum speed can be 160 kilometers per hour. This is going to be saving a lot of the traveling time of the passenger. Number 7, employment of the government jobs might just get impacted, because the minute you outsource it to a private player, which means the corporate shark philosophy will come in, and the corporates, as you know, would like to get more work done from a limited number and a fewer number of people as well. So a few people who are currently working in the railway, perhaps their jobs may be in jeopardy. Number 8, and this is just a possibility as of now, that the privately operated trains may just get a priority clearance vis-a-vis the government operated trains, which means that if you choose to travel by the privately operated coaches, perhaps chance of you being punctual are far higher. Number 9, the most severe effect of privatization could perhaps be an increase in the fares. So it is going to be hurting the people who cannot pay. The poor might just get hit because of this particular move. So what's the conclusion and what's the ending? The Indian Railways recovers 57% of the cost, only 57% of the cost, while ferrying 23 million passengers on a daily basis. So while this would significantly really benefit the government, it is a bit dicey for the passengers. But again, we have to wait and watch to see how this pans out. But for now, this move will benefit the government far more than it benefits the passengers.